All right, time for some more Q&A. So let's get into the first question here for today. Now, with OCD, there is nothing simple about this. It's not something where we have one quick fix available to us, right? It's a complex, multi-level issue that is likely spread apart over one's personal health and emotional history that has many elements involved in it, and nothing that I say here should be taken as a replacement for working with a real medical professional, working with a psychiatrist. So this is just information that you can then bring to that conversation to hopefully take it further and accelerate the path towards healing. Now, the first step is going to be basic blood work to look for nutritional deficiencies. Ultimately, one of the biggest theories about how OCD manifests is that it comes from imbalance of serotonin and dopamine. Way too much dopamine, not enough serotonin. And that's one strong element of it. So looking first at nutritional deficiencies can be a great starting point, because if something is totally missing for whatever reason, getting that appropriately supplemented or shifted in terms of dietary approaches, it can be a great starting place. From there, you also want to look at blood sugar balance, because it's fairly well established that hypoglycemia makes OCD much worse. And so there's two things you want to test here. One would be fasting blood glucose, and that's something you can test with relative ease at home. If you go to addictivewellness.com/FP, stands for favorite products, we have there all of our recommended favorite stuff from other companies. And one of those things is the most accurate blood glucose meter that you can use at home to prick a finger, test the blood. Hopefully one's OCD doesn't have anything to do with needles and blood, because that would make this a little bit more difficult. But you can see what fasting blood glucose is like, see if we have a blood sugar regulation problem. And then testing the HA1C or hemoglobin A1C is more of looking at what your overall blood sugar balance has been over the past month. And if there are issues here, but you're not quite sure what is throwing you off, you could also speak with the doctor about perhaps having a continuous blood glucose monitor for a few months to have basically live tracking of what's going on with your blood sugar. Another big aspect here is food sensitivities and allergies that can be major triggers. And testing for this is very problematic, because most food sensitivity tests are just going to tell you that you're sensitive to everything you've been having recently, because that's what you're producing a little bit of antibodies with, and that's not helpful at all, and nor is it accurate. What you want to look for is check out Cyrex Labs, Cyrex, and they have a different way of going about food sensitivity testing that's much more accurate and connected to the reality of how your body is going to be responding to these foods. And you may find something that is a huge trigger that you're having all the time that you weren't aware of. And then there's an inflammatory aspect to this as well. So being on an anti-inflammatory diet, having anti-inflammatory supplements like the Mariva form of curcumin, like fish oil, in terms of the long-chain omega-3s. You can do it in krill oil, you can do it in algae oil. They're all good to overall bring down inflammation in the body. Molecular hydrogen is another great way to do that. And then look at the causes of inflammation, whether it's poor diet or whether it is, in many cases, heavy metal toxicity that's causing chronic inflammation. This can be toxicity with things like mercury and lead. So you want to connect with an integrative medicine or functional medicine doctor who specializes in heavy metal chelation therapy. Do one round of the chelation, and with the chelation, what they call a challenge, have your urine tested to see what the heavy metals are like. And you may find that mercury and or lead or others are absolutely off the charts. And then you can work with that practitioner. Ideally, they have a really good heavy metal detoxification program set up to support you through chelation without putting too much of a burden on your body in terms of the detoxification process. And then you can bring those metals down to a healthier level. And so many areas of health can improve once you get that sorted out. And then generally look at doing things that are going to be supportive of mental health from a nutritional perspective. So this can come in the form of healthy fats, good amount of saturated fats, good amount of dietary cholesterol, good amount of long-chain omega-3s, the fish, krill, and algae oil that we're talking about earlier, right? And then look at herbs that are going to support brain function and healthy cognitive function. Things like lion's mane and ashwagandha being two of my personal absolute favorites. And then looking at another area, neurofeedback. You guys who have been following us and connected with us for a long time know that I'm a huge fan of neurofeedback, and I've had great experiences with it myself. And you can seek out a practitioner in your area who could help you with that. You can look up the website eeg.info, and you can look at the whole database of practitioners across the country. And this is an amazing way of retraining the brain. Anything that is cognitive based, it can have an effect on. And you're gradually retraining the brain, opening new pathways, improving brain function. And this is something that it's not overnight and it's not cheap. Sessions, I've seen them cost anywhere from $100 to $200 a session, and you definitely need a number of sessions. Usually it's anywhere ranging from 10 to 40 sessions. Some people, depends on the circumstances and how one progresses, may need to go longer than that. But this is powerful in its ability to retrain the brain into a more functional way of working. So I can't recommend this highly enough. It's something that pretty much anybody could benefit from, because we all have traumas and dysfunctional ways of working within our brain for whatever various reasons that we've experienced things in the past that are not serving us. And this is powerful in terms of its ability to sort those out and put us onto a better path. But even with something as powerful as neurofeedback, if you have like food allergies as a trigger going on here, or if you have real major heavy metal toxicity, it's just going to be halfway helpful, right? Because if the root cause is still there in terms of a toxicity or an allergy or a sensitivity, then going directly to the brain, it will certainly be helpful in a way, but it won't be sorting out that root cause, that thing that is still there causing issues, right? So if you can deal with nutritional deficiencies and look at heavy metals and look at food sensitivities and then do neurofeedback, I think that's a great set of things that you can bring together to give yourself the best shot here. And I hope, whether I'm not sure if you're asking this for yourself or for a loved one, but whoever it is, I hope you find yourself in a more peaceful place very soon.